This is this Object 703-122. It's a Tier 8 Soviet premium heavy tank. It's located on the southwest spawn of, Live Oaks? And it's under the command of SalvoFired of the 335th clan. Game on! Well, you may have noticed that he's actually in platoon with somebody called Koblakovic. Koblakovic is a regular with SalvoFired. They've played before, and they're both in the 703-2, which is a premium tank that was brought out with a double gun. In fact, I think it was the first of the double gun heavy tanks that they brought into the game. Now, both of the guns are 122mm, and you can see here they're firing APCR. They do have some high explosive, but none of the premium. I think it's that premium high explosive. No, that's the heat round. That's the premium. So yes, standard APCR, which does 390 alpha and 221mm of pen, and with the heat rounds that goes up to 270mm. Now both of the tanks have decided to go straight through the middle and ignore the usual route into the city, and I think a pandemonium is about to start, because as soon as the enemy realizes there's two heavy tanks sitting in their base, then things can only go bad. Well, he's going for a double shot, and he wipes out the Object 261 with one shot. So the enemy team have lost their Arty, and now he's going up behind the enemy tanks that went into the town. Now it appears that both tanks have actually, Koblakovic's lost some hit points. In fact, he's lost quite a lot actually. But they can work together and cover each other. Now the mechanic on this tank is that you can either fire a double shot together by holding down the fire key and then they will both fire, or you can fire just one and then the alternate one, the next one along. The standard reload on this tank is 11.98 seconds. That's the standard reload, but obviously he's showing a different time here because of course that's the reload time. Oh, he got a Borsig, and the Borsig is gone. He double tapped him, but we did take a big hit from a Skoda, and that was a double shot from the Skoda. There he is. Now that means that we are down to 1/3 of our hit points, which is basically almost the same as Koblakovic. So we've got to be careful now. We have taken out two major players on the enemy team. Now he's approaching this Skoda from behind the buildings, using them for cover, whilst Koblakovic goes up behind the Skoda from the other side. Now he's fired in. Oh, he's got a kill. He got him. Now the enemy's in a lot of trouble because we're coming in behind them. They can't shoot both directions at the same time, which means they have to select one target or another. And yep, that guy went down. The M103's out. He was taken out by the Shrek. Now we've got an IS-7 here, and we're shooting him in the ass. We could go both rounds, and we will. And yes, he loses 766 hit points. But we're now taking fire from the enemy 703-2 and a conceiver as well. And now we're a one-shot. So I don't think we're going to last very long. But one of them is going to go down. And he does a bit of ram damage. Now we've got the 703 behind us, and we are wiped out. But the 703-2 goes down with 6 tanks ahead of the enemy. They are now reeling from our attack. This T-32 is about to die, and he's gone. And now it's just the AT-15. We'll just wait until we go around the corner, and the IS-7 is going to nail this AT-15 with his 13cm gun. So that tactic seemed to work, because there's only 2 enemies left. One's a Waffenträger and the other one is a Nomad. and I don't think they're going to survive very long. The Nomad is actually being chased around this building. Yep, the Waffenträger got one shot in, but he takes some damage. The Nomad goes down, and that's it. The game's over, and they've won. Here's the end of battle results for the first game, and that was the second class tanker for SalvoFired of the 335th in the 7032. He managed to get a master gunner for getting 5 armor penetrating shots in a row, as well as a sharpshooter for getting 10 or more consecutive hits on the enemy. And on top of that, he got a fire for effect for doing more damage than the hit points of his own vehicle. His win rate in that game was 4,667, which is Super Unicum standard. Let's have a look at the team score. Well, again, he didn't survive the battle, but he certainly got a lot of damage, and so did Koblakovic. And if we look at the details, we can see the top damage in the game was actually that IS-7 we saw. That guy got a steel wall and 3,122 hit points. Second highest was the Shrek, who was also using the Pandemonium to get a Halonen's medal, and he got 3,047 hit points. And the third highest damage, that went to SalvoFired with 2,807. His platoon mate, Koblakovic, got 2,060, so he did well as well. When it came to kills, it was the Shrek. He was really taking advantage of the situation. He got a Halonen's medals, as you know, and of course that is for getting 2 or at least 2 enemy tanks, at least 2 tiers higher than yourself. And of course he's tier 8 and he was in a tier 10 game, so he must have taken down 2 tier 10 tanks to get that medal. Anyway, he when it came to the kills, it was the Shrek who got 5 kills. 2 kills went to SalvoFired and also to the 7032 on the enemy team, which happened to be the one who actually killed him in the end. And everyone else either got 1 kill or nothing. And we can see Koblakovic got 1 kill as well. When it came to base XP, we can see that both platoon mates right at the top with the Shrek. The Shrek got 1,401. SalvoFired got 1,181. And 915 went to Koblakovic. So the only 2 players to get over 1,000 base were the Shrek and SalvoFired, with Koblakovic following them very, very close behind. He fired only 8 rounds, but every round hit the target and every round penetrations. I counted at least 2 double taps that he did on the enemy in that game. At least 2. I think he actually probably got more, because I seem to recall that he double tapped the Borsig and he double tapped the Object 261, and then I think he double tapped the IS-7 as well. So it was only the tanks that actually, the 7032 and the Conceiver, who came to try and kill him to back up their teammates, that he fired single shots into, but that's because he wasn't reloaded in time. He got 2,807 hit points of damage, of which 510 were at more than 300 meters. That's, I think, was the shot on the Object 261. 7 hits received from the enemy. Of those, 4 penetrated and 3 non-penetrations. 880 hit points of damage blocked by armor. 2 enemy vehicles spotted, 5 enemy vehicles damaged, 2 killed, and he did 810 hit points of damage assistance in the game. On a premium count, he actually earned 75,873 credits for that game. And again, he used standard APCR, and it worked in this battle. He also picked up 1,948 experience points. So, yes, 2 7032s right through the middle of Live Oaks, and they carried the game. Well, they certainly did. They frightened the living daylights out of the enemy, because all of a sudden, they not only lost their Arty, they lost one of their key tank destroyers as well. And then obviously they lost one of their tier 10 heavy tanks in due course. So it was absolute, as I said, pandemonium. And that Shrek took advantage of the situation. He knew that once actually they started carving their way through the enemy's rear, that he could dive in there and get some quick kills by finishing off enemy tanks that were very badly damaged. So yes, it being unconventional sometimes works very nicely, and thanks very much to SalvoFired for sending this one in. I know it's taken a little while to get this done, because of course he sent this on the 6th of September, but yeah, we have finally done it because we found the right videos to put it together with, and in fact the next replay is going to be just as amusing. The second replay is on the Mountain Pass map, and you're looking at the IS-7, a tier 10 Soviet heavy tank. This one's being driven by Benjan25 of the YOL00 clan, and we can see he's got the advanced mobility device, grousers, and I'm not sure what the other one is, but I think it's the alternative layout. Game on! Well, yes, the IS-7, we go from the Object 703, which is a tank that only existed on blueprints, and now we go to a tank that actually did exist, but just never got mass produced. The IS-7 was probably one of the best creations by the Soviet tank industry. It was actually designed in December of 1945 at Leningrad, and they did actually go ahead with the prototypes to put it together. The main gun is the 13cm gun, capable of doing 490 alpha, and it'll penetrate 250mm with standard AP, and with the APCR it goes up to 310. It's a very solid tank with very good armor. The standard reload, 13.14 seconds. He's got 12.3. It's also very nicely coloured. I like the jaws. So he's laughing at the enemy. Okay, we've got a number of teammates joining us behind, and he's just checking that because obviously he doesn't want to go into a fight with the enemy and suddenly find that he hasn't got any support. There are enemy tanks in the distance. His first shot goes in, but he doesn't get a hit. Well, that AMX-30 was bleeding health, and the enemy suddenly lost 2 enemy tanks, and now we've got a Borsig above us, and he does take damage, 442 hit points, but we're beneath the overhang, so he can't get a shot at us now. He didn't actually get any damage on us. We blocked the shot from the guard. And the guard's now on fire. Of course, his engine's right at the front of the vehicle. And the Ram loses him 500 hit points. We blocked the second shot that came from him. And there's the enemy Arty. We should be able to wipe him out one shot. There we go. Now it's the guard's turn to be wiped out. We're looking round at the batch out 155-55. He's trying to get away, but he runs straight into the rock, and that's a Pascucci's medal. We're still taking shots from the guard, and we have finally lost some hit points. We lost the shot to the Lorraine, but he's looking round, and there goes the guard. So the enemy T-103 has come back from the ice road to try and deal with the IS-7, and of course it's not going to help him. We are angling, and yes, he loses that one, and we go for the Ram, get some more hit points. Got one shot in. We managed to claim 543 hit points, which is a high roll, and he's blocked the second shot. This will go through the turret ring, and there you go. So that's 4 kills in next to no time, and a Pascucci's medal at least. So he's thought about going down the ice road, but why should he? He can actually let these guys come to him. It looks like that T-54 Mod 1 is looking in this general direction, or if it's not, he's very silly. That's a high roll for 487. He has decided to go after them. I think his teammates have isolated the enemy tanks on the other flank. They can't get back to their cap, but now this T-54 Mod 1 is about to get reamed, and it's a one shot to kill him. Rams him, kills him. And that's another kill. So that's 5 now. Now there's no tanks left on this flank for him to kill, so he has to return and go up the other flank. His teammates didn't do quite so well. It might have been easier for him to actually carry on, go underneath the bridge and make his way over to the other flank that way, but he's decided to go up this slope here. Top speed of this thing is 59.6 kilometers an hour, so it's quite a fast for a heavy tank. The drivers of the real IS-7s said they absolutely loved this tank. It would respond to the finest adjustment that they made. So it really was one of the best tanks the Soviets produced. But of course they decided they didn't need any more heavy tanks, and this thing did weigh 71 tons when it was fully loaded. So instead they decided not to make this one, but to make the IS-8, which then became known as the T-10, because of course Stalin died shortly after it was accepted. Okay, well, there are enemy tanks ahead. He fires one quick blast at the BZ-176, who doesn't respond, so I suspect he's probably reloading. Because remember, that guy's got a very big gun. Okay, we're still very healthy, and that guy's not very healthy. Going in for the ram. We managed to take it only a hit for 108. And that was an HE round. And now he's bullying that BZ. Go for it again. And finishes him off with the next shot. Managed to back out without getting hit. That's his top gun. Okay, now he's telling the M5Y to fall back because he wants these kills. He wants a Radley Waters. He can do it. Instead, he rams both tanks. And, yep, pumps one up the rear of the 430U. Then goes in for a ram on the 257. My gum, he's attacking two tanks simultaneously. Looking at this guy, it says, oh, missed out on that because his teammate got in the way. Okay, his teammate dealt with that. Oh, and he lost the M5Y, but he takes out the 430U. Now he goes in for the ram on the 257. Now, blocking the shot there cost him his gun, but he's so close to this guy, he can't miss him. And this is the last enemy. If he gets this kill, he gets the Radleys. He doesn't get it. The 252U steals the Radley Waters away from him. And he can't be happy about that, but he got the victory. Well, this was a hyper-aggressive game. Benjan25 of the YOLO clan just really went at the enemy with a vengeance. And he got a first-class tanker. In fact, that's the first time he's ever had a first-class tanker in the IS-7. So very well done to play the way he did and get away with it and get some real damage. He just missed out on getting a Radley's. He did get a Reaper badge for taking out 3 consecutive enemies with one shot in a row. He also managed to get a fire for effect for doing more damage than the hit points to his own vehicle, a shell proof for blocking more damage than the hit points to his own vehicle and surviving the battle. He also got a duelist for taking down 2 tanks who damaged him, a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In this game, he managed to get 7. He also picked up a Hand of God for surviving the battle, having received damage from at least 4 different enemy tanks. And on top of that, he picked up some Battle Hero medals and some Epic medals. He got the Pascucci's medal for killing 2 enemy SPGs, one after the other. He got a high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game. He got a Top Gun for getting at least 6 kills. He actually got 7, missed out on the Radleys by just 1 shot. And it was that 252U should have seen that Benjan was actually on the verge of taking away a Radley's. And he also got a Steel Wall for blocking the most damage in that game, at least 11 hits. His win rate was 8,595, which is super unicum and a lot more. Let's have a look at team score. Well, we can see the highest damage was 6,177. He really went at it in this game. The second highest damage turned out to be the BZ-176 on the enemy team with 3,695, and he took that guy out. Third highest damage happened to be the Object 252U, who stole that Radley Waters away from him. He got 3,594. So I thought that maybe he just didn't realize or just didn't see that Benjan was about to get his Radleys. When it came to kills, he's got the highest number of those. He got 7 kills. 2 kills went to the Object 252U and the Borsig on his team, and the Borsig actually picked up a Halonas medal for killing 2 enemy tanks or tank destroyers at least 2 tiers higher than himself. And the Object 430U, he got 2 kills as well. He wiped that guy out as well. And when it came to base XP, he's got that one as well. So he's got the top in all 3 columns. 1,327 base experience points went to Benjan. 1,053 went to the Object 252U, and they were the only two players who managed to make it over 1,000 base, with the third place going to the T69, who got 898. He fired 17 rounds. He got 15 direct hits and 13 penetrations. 6,177 hit points of damage, all of it at close range. 12 hits received from the enemy, only 2 of which actually penetrated, 8 non-penetrations. This armor's very, very strong, very well angled, and if you do waggle or you do angle yourself, it's very difficult for the enemy to get the penetration. He also got 2 hits by way of splash damage when the enemy fired HE at him instead. 3,270 hit points of damage blocked by armor. 1 enemy vehicle spotted, 9 enemy vehicles damaged, 7 killed, and he got 1,207 hit points of damage assist. I think that was actually spotting more than anything. On a premium count, he made 13,605 credits profit from that game. He did use some premium rounds, as you can see, but he also got 67 bonds, because he got a mission achievement for 60 bonds, and then 7 for this being tier 10. And on top of that, 9,954 experience points, including 7,964 for mission completion. He says when stupidity finally rewards you. I think this was when aggression finally rewards you, because he really went at the enemy in such a way. They had no choice. They had to engage him, but it was no way that they were going to win, because every time they fired, they were either bouncing off his armor or they just weren't doing enough damage to stop him. And he just kept going at them, ramming them and shooting them and ramming them again. And it just worked. It worked incredibly well. So I think Benjan's going to get some really great results in this IS-7. And thank you very much again for sending in a replay, which was interesting to say the least. He cleared up one flank and then he went and cleared another flank. And he did it so aggressively, the enemy just didn't know which way to turn. So, after all those games, what have we got next for you? Well, we've got another replay in one of the new tanks that just come out. So, hold on to your horses. Let's have a look at the next one. The third replay is on the Sand River map, and we're on the East Spawn. And you're looking at the Object 268 version 5, which is a turreted tank destroyer. And in it is our old friend panzerpenguin, somebody who used to be in the same clan as me, and next to him is Santa Dia in another 2685. Game on! Okay, this is a turreted version of the Object 268. So basically it's got a very powerful 152mm main gun, and it's capable of doing 750 alpha with those guns with standard AP. Enemy tank spotted. It was a Leopard 1. Now these are tier 10s, so it's a tier 10 game. Only tier 10 tanks. Off in the distance, well, we can see a Tessac. No, that one fell well short. Okay, so it's going to be interesting to see exactly how they handle this one, because obviously when you've got two tanks together, both the same type, it can actually be quite deadly. Now these tanks are actually based on the Object 730, the T10, which of course I mentioned in the previous replay was also known as the IS-8. These were developed in the 1950s, and the project was allowing a gun to be mounted in a rotating turret for horizontal fire. Most ammunition was in the rear of the turret in order to improve crew operations. Remember, it's a 152mm caliber. Well, he did hit the Leopard, but he didn't get a pen, and the TVP is now unloading from a distance. Santa Dia took some hits as well. As you can see, he's dropped to half his health already. You can see the Tessac out in the field. Got a large force go to the north, but the Leopard 1 on the enemy team appears to be making his way round. Again, that shot went low. Leopard 1 seeming to try and avoid contact with some of our guys, but I suspect that he is actually going to regret that, because I think he's about to get a 152mm round in him. Hello. Yep, that one did pen this time. 737. So they're playing rearguard at the moment. But I think they can see that other Object 268 of the enemy team out there, and he's doing damage as well. He's just caking out one of our Progettos. Now, this tank was never actually built. It was a project that was cancelled. But it did actually have some complicated modifications. Let's see how they get on. Okay, so we've got a Tessac and the Object 2685. It seems that the enemy has got the south bank of the river and they're trying to basically push north. We're just keeping an eye on that Tessac at the moment. We can't see the Object 2685. Yes, there he is. He's still there. And Santander got a shot into him, but it's a low roll. Just see the top of his turret. Here's the Tessac. He goes down to one hit. He was already badly damaged. Santander's probably reloaded by now. The standard reload, 18.79 seconds. And yes, Santander kills the enemy Object 2685. Now, what's annoying for the enemy is now we're in a position to start attacking the enemy as they make their way towards our cap. Now, their Batchat 25 might be able to see us in the distance, but as they come up over that rise, they're going to have to get hit by a 152mm round right through their flanks, which is not going to be nice because obviously it's bound to penetrate. Okay, the first of them on IS-7's decided to come up. We've got 5 degrees of gun depression, so yes, we do have to use creative maneuvering to get the gun to drop down, but that Striv is auto-aimed on, and he's out the game. So that's a second kill for panzerpenguin. Okay, we've got the mouse. So first trying to get into the cap area. And he's out the game as well. So that's 3 kills now for panzerpenguin. We're 2 tanks down on the enemy, but they are being shredded as they try to get towards our cap area. And that's another one. That's 4 kills. That 152mm gun in a turret really makes a difference. And of course, the problem with the Object 268 was it was a gun that was actually with the casement round the gun, and of course the gun facing forwards. This way, with a turret, you actually have the ability to play it like an ordinary tank. Okay, work out which way he's going. Oh, okay, well, we weren't able to get that one in. But the IS-7's out. And that's 5 kills now. He's 1 away from getting a Top Gun. And I don't think the enemy really wants to come near us. There's still 3 tanks left on our team facing 4 enemy. Santander's gone round the corner. He's going to try and attack the enemy from a different direction. And... oh! That slow shell velocity really caught us out there. It's 950 meters per second. So it's like lobbing the shell at the enemy. If it's a fast moving enemy like that Batchat, it's difficult to get hits. But now we've got a Heshbon in the distance approaching. Now he's not a one shot. He's going to take at least 2 to take out. Well, not so. The gorilla got him. Or is it? No, Santander got him. And I suspect he used an HE round. We're actually loaded with HE at the moment. That's 1,100 alpha and 90 millimeters of pin. So I suspect that's what he used. Hello. Well, the Death Star took a hit for 723. We're reloading premium. Now it's 3 versus 2. And we've definitely got more hit points than the enemy. In fact, panzerpenguin's hardly taken any damage at all, but I think he would rather like to get that top gun if he can. So we've got a pair of bat-chats to kill. The question is, where are they? I suspect they are still north of the riverbank. I don't think they would have made it over to this south side. Santander's decided to go up the middle. Now remember the back chat, 5 shots, autoloader, 105mm main gun, 390 alpha, and he can unload quite a lot of shells into us, but the question is, if he gets hit with the right round, that is, if he was actually penetrated by somebody using HE rather than a APCR, then I suspect he would probably die very, very quickly. Okay, Santander's decided to take the enemy fire. If they do try to shoot him, at least he'll find out where they are. We're looking at the heights at the moment, but I'm pretty certain they are still on the north bank over here somewhere. There he is, making a quick run for it. Oh, we got hit by one of them. Oh, well, we've taken 2 hits now, and we know where one of them is. But he goes down to Santander, so he's got 3 kills, and we've got 5. So now we've got a platoon with at least brothers in arms if Santander stays alive. But we really do need that last kill, that last bat chat, and that would give us the top gun. The guerrillas come to join us as well. He's abandoning our cap area. He realizes the enemy bat chat is off in the field. Okay, Santander's going for the cap. And the guerrilla out in the field, is the guy going to come straight towards him? He might feel confident, because if you get behind a guerrilla, you can shoot him in the ass, and he can't turn his gun towards you. So he might think he's got a quick kill if he takes out the guerrilla. The guerrilla's trying to bait him. Hey, he's just trying to make up his mind. Maybe he thinks as well that panzerpenguin's here. Here he is. Hello. And that wins the game and a top gun for panzerpenguin in the Object 268 version 5. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was a first-class tanker for panzerpenguin in the Object 268 version 5. He managed to get a expert in Czechoslovakia by killing every tank in the Czechoslovakian line, so well done on that. He's also got a Reaper badge for taking out the enemy with consecutive shots, at least 3 enemy vehicles, as well as a fire for effect for doing more damage than hit points for his own vehicle. And he got a Brothers in Arms because he managed to get at least 3 kills, and so did Santander. And a Top Gun for getting at least 6 kills. So between them, they got 9 kills over the entire battle. His win rate was 4,012, which is Super Unicum standard and a bit more. Let's have a look at the team score. Well, he didn't get the highest damage in the game. The Santander actually got the highest damage. He got a cool-headed Brothers in Arms and a steel wall out of that damage, out of that game, but he didn't get the high caliber. He got 6,129 hit points of damage. Second highest was panzerpenguin with 4,234. And the third highest damage in the game, well, that turned out to be the Strip 103B, which is one of the tanks that panzerpenguin took out. He got 3,367 hit points of damage. When it came to kills, it was panzerpenguin. He got 6 kills out of that one. 3 kills went to Santander, 2 kills went to the Posh B on his team, and also to the Strip 103B and the can opener on the enemy team. And when it came to base XP, it was actually Santander who came out on top. He got 1,204 out of that game, so he's got the top in 2 columns, missed out on the number of kills. But of course, panzerpenguin picked up 1,038, and they were the only 2 players who managed to make it over 1,000 base, with the E5 getting 892. And we can see the Gorilla only got 1 kill out of that game, so we couldn't have platooned with him and picked up anything extra like a crucial contribution, because he just didn't have enough. But it would have taken away the brothers in arms if we had. But very well done. Let's have a look at the detail. 13 shots fired, 9 direct hits on the enemy, 8 penetrations. So only 1 round didn't actually penetrate or do a kill. 4,234 hit points of damage, of which 2,697 were at more than 300 meters. You can see with this tank at more than 300 meters, with the gun handling's fairly bad because it doesn't go directly onto the target as you look at it straight away. And of course, since you are firing over long distance, the shell seems to lob at the enemy. So you have to take that into account when you're firing. 6 hits received from the enemy, 5 of them penetrated. Well, the armor's not particularly strong, and he also got 1 non-penetration. 8 enemy vehicles damaged, 6 killed, and 3,346 hit points, rather, I should say, of damage assist in the game. On a premium count, he actually made 9,919 credits from that one. Yes, I know it was a lot of ammunition that he fired, and some of it was premium ammo, but he did get a completion bonus for 30,000 credits. On top of that, he got 62 bonds, 55 of which were for an achievement as well, and 3,970 experience points out of the game as well. Very interesting game. This one, again, from September. I know it took me a little while to get these 3 together, but I thought they would be 3 very interesting heavy tank games, because we don't normally feature heavy tanks that often. But I thought if we put them all together, it might make it that much more interesting. So I hope you enjoyed both of those. 2 of them were platoon games, and they seemed to carry the game very, very nicely indeed. But this platoon really did carry their team, because, of course, as you know, they got 9 kills between them, which is more than the rest of the team combined. I hope you enjoyed this replay, as well as the other ones. And if you did, please give this video a like, and thank you for watching.